everybody's going to be tuning in to what feels like essentially, Steph versus LeBron, but, two teams that, have been champions, have a long, long history, not only playing against each other, but just iconic runs. And I'm really excited to see this, as well as yesterday. Seeing Tatum go for 50 was special. So I think it's a little bit of a mixed bag, but like I said, as a fan, I'm really looking forward to tonight.
Hey, Kev, Bart Scott, big fan. Break it down for us. Break the matchup down for us. Then, how do you see this going? Because it looked like yesterday the home teams had a little extra pep in their step, maybe because the home crowd and they're not used to having the fans in the building, and it looked like the home teams had a little bit of extra giddy up in their step.
For sure. No, I think that always home court advantage, I think, shouldn't be overlooked. It plays a big part and, allows you to lock in a little bit more and use, that energy and that sixth man in a major way. But tonight, it should be interesting. I think, LeBron is always somebody, because I've seen it firsthand, that rises to the occasion and is able to get it done. We'll see how he's doing with that ankle, but I think as far as his mind goes and just being a savant, he's more than ready. He's more than prepared. And it's going to be, the other guys around him, including AD, and how he's feeling and how he comes out and sets the tone tonight. I always feel like, and I saw it in the bubble, if he comes out and he's super aggressive on both ends of the floor, they win. And he sets the tone for the rest of the team. And that 1-2 punch with him and LeBron is beyond formidable. That having a big dude that's so versatile and so able to do so many things out there on the floor. If he's on point tonight, I see them winning the basketball game. But I think Steph Curry, the way he's playing, you could argue he's the best. He's MVP and also the best player on the planet right now. And I'll tell you, if you're a big dude, if you're 6'8" and above, and you get switched on to him outside the 3-point line and beyond, because he has unlimited in the gym range, he occupies some space in your brain. So if he gets, if they get out in transition, if he's able to get it going, if he's scoring 40-plus points tonight, bring the popcorn out. It could be, a truly amazing game that could come down to the wire. But it'll be interesting to see how the Lakers' size impacts, the run, pace and space type of a game that the Warriors have always played. But it's tough for me to bet against either one of those guys, because arguably the two best players in the world, guys that, all-time greats. And again, as a fan, I'm really looking forward to this. And I know you guys and everybody else is feeling the same way.
Five-time NBA All-Star Kevin Love of the Cleveland Cavaliers joining us, partnering with Geno Mind during Mental Health Awareness Month. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Kevin, you look at LeBron, and he's had this high ankle sprain. When you're an athlete at that superstar level, and you are dealing with an injury that has been bothering you for more than a few weeks and doesn't look like it's going to get better until you get some extended time off, how much does that weigh into your mind when you're out there trying to play?
Yeah, I've seen it with LeBron, his pain threshold and what he's capable of putting his mind to in any moment. But yeah, I and just hearing him speak about how he may never be the same coming off this injury, certainly for the extended period of this potential playoff run that he's in, could really affect him and potentially affect his team tonight and further series. But I think it is a major luxury for the teams that are already slated 1 through 6 within the playoffs, because they get that 8 to 10 days. Forgive me for not knowing the exact amount, but even a team that's like Brooklyn, they're dealing with nagging injuries. They're dealing with guys that are finally over that last hurdle of their injuries, with James Harden, with KD coming back from his, and Kyrie getting right. So those big three of guys, as well as the rest of the guys on the team, sure, there might be a little bit thrown off as far as rhythm goes within 10 days. You haven't played together in a while. You get great practice time, but more than anything, just healing up before what could potentially be a major playoff run to the Eastern Conference Finals and potentially the finals with that crew. So I think the Lakers missing that window and being in the tournament could affect them moving forward more than people may think.
Kev, you're here for mental health, and me being a guy that struggles with that as well, and put myself in therapy. It's kind of hard sometimes when you're young to try and explain your feelings and try and find yourself. You played with a young Kyrie, and I'm not saying that he has mental issues or anything like that, but I'm saying it looks like he's becoming comfortable in his own skin. What was it like playing with a young Kyrie, and as an athlete that had to find yourself and come to grips with what you were feeling mentally? What's that journey all about?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody comes into their own at their own pace, right? I mean, he's already so precocious and ahead of his time, and somebody that's really grown into somebody that's been incredibly educated and knows himself and is really in tune with what he wants to get done outside of basketball. Has become an activist. Has kind of looked into his roots, his mother's roots, and that's incredibly commendable. I mean, I can remember playing with him in the 3 years, just how young, I guess, both of us were in kind of understanding who we are. I mean, I'm a few years ahead of him, but at the time I didn't understand what it meant to sacrifice for the team within the structure of the NBA and within the structure of our organization. So understanding that, being around great veterans, understanding what it meant to sacrifice, how I could best, impact the team as well as just off the court, really having great relationships and spending time with teammates, being a real vocal force and a positive force within the locker room. That was all things that I had to grow and learn, some things that were already there, but I could get better at. It was the same thing for Kyrie, finding his voice, understanding who he is. But again, it wasn't until I was really maybe 29, 30 years old where I let, the little things affect me far less. I understand who I am, but of course, I feel like every 2, 3, 4 years I look back and think I didn't know anything. I thought, man, I made my mistakes, though I'm thankful for them. Some I could have avoided. Some are, incredible, learning and teaching points. But I think it's been beautiful to see Kyrie having an amazing year this year and finishing off that last game of the season against us and being able to be the ninth player to be 50, 40, 90. So I'm very happy that on both sides of basketball and in life, he's been able to find himself and understanding that, not everybody's gonna love you for the things that you say, but being comfortable with that and sticking true to who you are, I think is incredibly impactful.
Kevin Love joining us right now via the Goodyear Hotline, partnering with Geno Mind, and the role that genes play in your mental health. And we'll ask him about that in just a moment with the mental health awareness this month. Along those lines with Kyrie, though, as he has matured, you still have the times where he's taken some time away from the team. Earlier this year, you were a little bit critical of him when he said that, the media were basically pawns at this point. Those aspects of it, how does that affect a team? How can Kyrie have a detrimental effect in that way?
I think it sometimes from, 10,000 feet or a chip shot away from the situation, if you will. And I had a moment this year that was, kind of similar. Happened on a play against Toronto where it got taken maybe out of context. But I think, in my response to Kyrie saying the media were pawns, that, first of all, nobody's perfect. And he likely learned from that situation because he is a very, very smart individual. But I just understand, and Flip Saunders, the late great Flip Saunders taught me this, that everybody has a role to play, whether it be the first guy all the way down to the 15, 16 guy on the team, every coach, the front office, ownership, media, just everybody, if you will, all the way down to, the equipment manager. It just, everybody has a part to play. And, I truly believe that, it's in its entirety. This is the reason that we have these contracts, why we have these TV deals, and we get to, show this game in so many different countries around the world and have the platform to be able to do these things and be able to reach tens of millions of people and tens of millions of kids by pressing send on a PSA. Is because we have this this game that's grown to the levels that it has. And I do believe that things could be taken out of context. I do believe that, the players and guys in that locker room love Kyrie. Kyrie's, kind of, for the most part, unlike anybody else in the league, and he's one of one. But boy, he can really, get stuff done outside the realm of basketball and on the court. I mean, he's an advocate, he's a philanthropist, he's an athlete, and when you mix those three, it can be a truly beautiful thing.
Hey, Kev, as you're going to watch Kyrie and you're going to watch LeBron on a collision course seemingly to the finals, or at least that's what we anticipated before the injuries, do you look at this, or will you be looking at it if that happens as what could have been if you guys would have stayed together and continued to be the big three that you were in Cleveland?
Yeah, I mean, hindsight is most of the time pretty clear. It's not always 20/20, but just in connecting the dots, yeah, I think if we would have, potentially ran it back a time or two more, that's something that always creeps into my brain, just because those were such special teams. Those two together, as well as myself and the supporting cast around them, were so special. And I believe that next year, our 2016-17 season, I say it all the time, was actually the most talented and the most together and the most fun. So being able to run it back the 17-18 season would have been a truly beautiful thing. But again, on both sides, we decided to move on, and the rest is history. And now, like you said, we have this potential collision course for the Lakers and the Nets to meet in the finals. So that would be, I said, maybe a month ago or 6 weeks ago, get your popcorn ready, because that would be truly one for the ages if both teams can stay healthy and you have so many future first ballot Hall of Famers and guys that are all-time greats playing against each other. It'd be one that I think people would love to see.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.